Hi friends. Today's topic is um, money laundering. Okay, we'll see what is money laundering is and the legal frameworks available in India to counter this money laundering. Okay, so what is money laundering? Okay, so money laundering is a process of making large amounts of money generated by criminal activities. Okay, so it may be corrupt money out of the executives, that is politicians or bureaucrats, officers working into the government get bribe. Okay, so these money and other source of money from the normal public, such as drug trafficking, terrorist funding. Okay, so to make the money which they earned out of the illegal activities, these are quite extreme illegal activities. Other kind of illegal activities like um, sand mining. Okay, sand mining is the greatest illegal activity which is happening in our country, and kind of such kind of activities by the normal people. Okay, uh, to the extreme of drug trafficking to normal kind of illegal activities. Okay, so to but all these people who earn money out of these illegal activities, okay, either it may be government officials or non-government normal people, all they have to account, if they wish to account, to make these money legitimate, because only if they make this money legitimate, they can spend these money and they can live a luxurious life. Otherwise they cannot spend everything as cash. Okay, as you know, uh, only cash can be spent only to an extent. If they want to wish to register a land, they need bank transfer, and they wish to build up a you know uh, a house in the land which they bought, they need to make in some kind of bank transfers. Okay, so to bring in all the money which they earned illegally into the legitimate source, that is to a bank account. Okay, what they'll do is that they'll launder the money. This is called as money laundering. Okay, so as you can see, the major activities like illegal activities like arms sales, smuggling, drug trafficking, prostitution rings, okay, insider trading. So what is insider trading? Insider trading is that it's simple. Um, you know, each and every company will be having a board of member. Okay, a private company will be having a board of member, and they'll be listed in the stock market. Okay, in the stock market. Okay, so if they are going to announce something which may change the price of the stock, of the company stock, the board of members will be knowing it prior. Okay, prior to the announcement. So if this board member leaks these information, it's called as insider trading. Okay, to benefit, if say for example the company's stock price is, say for example, 1000 rupees. Okay, and they know that the particular announcement will make a jump in the share price to 1500 rupees. So what they'll do is that they'll uh, you know uh, leak this information to their relatives or the known one to purchase more, like stocks for 10 crore or 20 crore, and sell the stock once this reaches 1500 rupees. This is called as insider trading. Okay, so then bribery, computer fraud schemes, okay, everything, okay, which makes large profit, they need to legitimize these money. Okay, for that they use this kind of money laundering tricks. Okay, so money laundering is a three-stage process. Okay, it's the first stage is placement, second stage is layering, and the third stage is integration. So what is placement? So the first stage is when the crime money is injected into the formal financial system. It will be bought into the a bank account. Simply put, it will be bought into a bank account. Then layering. In the second stage, money injected into the system is layered and spread over various transactions with a view to obscure the tainted origin of the money. Okay, what they'll do is that they'll not inject it directly. What they'll do is that first they'll be putting it. Say for example, they have a 1 crore rupee. Okay, they'll be putting this 1 crore into 100 different bank accounts, and they'll transfer these bank account. Okay, they'll shuffle the bank account. That is, the first person will transfer the money to the 100th person. The 99th person will transfer the money to the second person. So in such a way, the transfer will happen. And once again, the 99th person will transfer the money to the third person. Okay, the third person will transfer the money to the 99th person once again. So in such a way that this is called as, this is something called as um, round tripping. Okay, so in such a manner, round tripping is another extended form of this. Okay, so so in such a manner they'll transact. So this is called as layering. Okay, so the third part is integration. In the third and final stage, money enters the financial system in such a way that original association with the crime is sought to be wiped out. Okay, simply to state, these kind of people will form NGOs, or they'll start a trust, and they'll get all these money as in the form of donation. Okay, donation from 100 different people. Okay, 1 crore will be split into 100 different people or 1,000 different peoples. Okay, in a way that 10,000 in 10,000 rupees will be coming to their bank account. Okay, so in such a way, or less than 10,000 means you can also have a cash transfer. Okay, so this trust will accept a donation from 1,000 different people with 9,000 rupees. They'll give a voucher for this. This is called as integration. Okay, so here there are many kinds. Okay, bulk cash smuggling, cash intensive business, trade based laundering, shell company. Shell company is that they'll just register in the government portal, and they'll not have any activities. They'll not have a factory. Okay, they'll not have employees, but what they'll do is that they'll make up the companies will exist only in record, only in a book. Okay, there what they'll do is that they have a land, they'll have a land, but they'll not have any building in there. Okay, and they'll not have any employees, but they'll for maintenance they'll put up a money. For employees salary, they'll charge a money. Okay, employee one, they would have said that they would have spent 10,000 rupees, another, etc., etc. These companies will be used to show that they would have earned, they would have they on record they'll say that they spent 1 crore rupees and they earned 2 crore rupees. Okay, so for that 2 crore they'll pay tax. Okay, so these are called as shell companies. Then bank capture, gambling, real estate, black salaries. Black salaries in the sense, um, people will, what they'll do is that if they have 1 crore rupees, they would have said that he will say that he received these as salary, and for the last 10 years from various different employers. Okay, this is called as black salary, and he will make up vouchers ready for that. Okay, from 100 or 200 different people, he will say that for each and every year he earned 10 lakh rupees for consultancy services or other services. Okay, this is called as black salaries. Fictional loans. Fictional loan is that they will say that they would have said that I gave loan to a person, and I got interest from for the loan. I gave 2 crore as loan to a person in cash format. Okay, and I'm getting this 1 crore as interest from them. Okay, this is called as fictional loan. Hawala, you know what Hawala is. Hawala is that uh, yeah, you people will be here, say for example in Chennai. Okay, if you're going to give 1 lakh rupees to a person can, your friend or relative can collect this 1 lakh rupee from a person from Delhi. Okay, because you cannot this is a this is a illegal money, the money you're giving to him, so you cannot transfer the money legitimately, or you cannot. So more than, if you're going to take have more than 1 lakh to more than 10 lakh, then you cannot carry the money, because you'll be if you are caught to the police, they'll hand the money over to the enforcement directorate. So you cannot take this money and travel to Delhi. So what you'll do is that the people will have a network, and this is called as Hawala. If you're going to give this 10 lakh to a person in Chennai, his network person in Delhi will deliver the same amount after charging after taking a service charge. They'll deliver the same amount to your relative in Delhi. Okay, this is called as Hawala. Okay, then false invoicing is that here in in 120, say your you would have joined here in 120 for studying, taking up a UPSC civil service course. Okay, say there will be bogus companies who will not have any students, but what they'll do is that they'll fictionally create the student name, and they'll create an invoice. Okay, this is called as false invoicing. Okay, to show that would have received to show that they would have received an income from that fictional person. Okay, these are some kind of money laundering. Okay, then the legal, what are the legal framework in money laundering in India? Okay, the major legal framework was the Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. Okay, so this law was enacted to combat money laundering in India for three major reasons. Okay, to prevent money laundering, okay, to prevent money laundering, and for confiscation and seizure of property obtained from money laundering money. Okay, the laundered money. Okay, say for example, if a person had bought a piece of land, or built a luxurious house. Okay, so all these houses and land will be seized by the enforcement directorate. Okay, stating that it is that the money has the property has been bought by illegal way, and laundered money. Okay, then the third important reason uh, reason for this I mean uh, the work of the enforcement directors to deal with any other issues connected with the money laundering, other all kind of activities. Okay, because this money laundering is a very big uh, it's a large thing. Okay, we cannot shrink it to some uh, forms. Okay, the things which we discussed here are very few kind of money laundering. There are a lot of other money laundering techniques which the experts in money laundering are carrying forward, and enforcement directorate is fighting against this. Okay, so under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the enforcement director is empowered to conduct money laundering investigation against any person. Okay, apart from provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, there are other specialized provisions such as RBI, SEBI, IRDA, and anti-money laundering regulations. Okay, each and every establishment has their own vigilance team and anti-money laundering establishments. Okay, so let's see few facts about the enforcement directorate. So, Directorate of Enforcement is a specialized financial agency under the Department of Revenue, was under the Department of Revenue, the Ministry of Finance. Okay. Um, so, in 1956, an enforcement unit was formed in Department of Economic Affairs for handling exchange control laws in those days. Okay, violations in the exchange control laws under Foreign Exchange Regulation Act of 1947. In the year 1957, the unit was renamed. The Directorate of the Enforcement Unit was renamed as Enforcement Directorate. Okay, so the laws which other than other than Prevention of Money Laundering Act, the Enforcement Directorate also looks into the Foreign Exchange Money Management Act of 1999. Okay, FEMA. Okay, this is a very important act, Foreign Exchange Money Management Act. Okay, so that's all for this topic. Thank you.